Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, my dear students. How are you all? I hope you all are fine. So today we'll be dealing with the next part of the chapter development from economics. Let us start. In the previous class we have understood the meaning of development and also what is economic development and the objectives of economic development. Today we'll be understanding what is underdevelopment. What is the meaning of underdevelopment? The word underdevelopment denotes a backward and stagnant situation where levels of living of people are low due to low per capita income and lower productivity levels apart from high population growth. So, a country is to be said underdeveloped when it is having a backward situation, a stagnant situation. What is a stagnant situation? Stagnant situation means where there is no improvement seen, there is no development at all. Why it is happening? Because the standard of living of the people is low, because their income is low and the production is also very low, and in spite of all this the population is growing. In the families also, if you see personally, if a family is having one or two children, the family will run nicely and it can fulfill all the needs and wishes of the family. But when the population is increasing, when the number of children are increasing, we have to compromise, isn't it? In the same way, the underdeveloped countries are those countries who are having very low income and huge population is being seen. The majority of people in such a country cannot afford the basic necessities of food, clothing and shelter. So the underdeveloped countries are those countries which don't afford basic amenities or basic necessities like food, clothing and shelter. Majority of them are illiterates and superstitious. They suffer from diseases due to lack of sanitation and medical facilities. Why it is happening? Because there is no proper sanitation. Sanitation means drinking water facility, and proper disposal of waste is also not being done, and lack of medical facilities also can be seen. Because of this we can see there is underdevelopment in the countries. Now what are developing countries? We have understood the meaning of underdevelopment. Now let us understand what is developing countries. According to the United Nations, an underdeveloped country is one whose real per capita income is lower than that of USA, Canada, Australia and Western Europe. By this, we can clearly understand that the United Nations organization has classified the developing countries as those countries whose real per capita income, the actual income of a individual, is less than that of a USA, Canada, Australia and Western Europe. The underdeveloped countries or nations are capable of development and are making serious efforts to overcome these problems of low income and poverty. They are now called as developing countries. So the underdeveloped countries means the countries who are under the category of underdeveloped countries. They are striving hard, they are taking efforts to improve, and they are taking steps to overcome the problems of low income and to remove poverty. So those countries who are under underdeveloped nations and they are trying to develop themselves, improve themselves, they are now called as developing countries. Understood? The World Bank in its World Development Report classifies the countries as high, medium and low income countries, and all the countries with middle and low income are referred to as developing countries. So according to the World Bank, it has been provided a report or prepared a report, and it has classified the countries as high income, medium income and low income countries, and all the countries which are under the middle and low income, they are called as developing countries. And India is a prominent developing country that has recorded significant rise in income since 1990s. So India is which country? India is a developing country because from 1990s we can see that India is developing day by day. Now, what are the indicators of the development. So the first and the foremost we can see income is considered as the indicator of development. And how do we measure economic development? How can we say that the economy of a nation is developing? Because national income is used as an indicator of development. Economic progress in a country will be slow if the population expands along with the increase in national income. So how we measure the progress of a country? If the economic conditions are good, all are getting the basic necessities. Now economic progress in a country will be slow because there is huge population. In India you can see it is having a huge population and it cannot fulfill all the basic needs of all the people. We can see so many people are still dying on the footpaths, staying in the um, slumdog areas and all, in chupalpattis and all we see, no. So we see this poverty can be seen in India. There is no economic progress in our country. It is very slow because of the huge population. Therefore, comparison of economic development between countries with different levels of population will not be correct. Now, how do we measure the national income? I have told you all. How do we measure the national income? Yes, in the previous class we have understood the meaning of national income. What is the meaning of national income? National income is the value of goods and services produced in the country during that particular year. But here if we see, if we take consideration only national income and we are having different level of population, then comparing the economic conditions of all the countries will not be correct. We will not get the proper income of that country and we can't compare it according to that. Comparing the economic development of countries is difficult when the population is different. Okay. Hence, per capita income is being used as an indicator of development instead of national income. So now, to measure the development, economic development, national income is not taken into consideration. What is taken into consideration? Per capita income. What do you mean by per capita income? The per capita income is the average income of each individual in the country, which is calculated as national income divided by total population in a given year. Yes, what is per capita income? Per capita income is equal to total income of that particular area divided by total population. Means in one area, how many people are surviving and what is their total income divided by that number of people, then we get the per capita income. Okay, so this is taken into consideration. It is the average income of each individual in the country. It is believed that as per capita income increases, there is an increase in the standard of living of the people and consequently there is economic growth. When the per capita income of a person is increasing, okay, individual income is increasing, then the standard of living will also increase genuinely and we can see consequent growth in the economy. Got it? Hence, attempts are made to extend the income measure by including other parameters of development, in which prominent is Human Development Index. So, to calculate this, many attempts are being taken place to measure income as the parameter of development, in which Human Development Index is the one which is very important. Now let us understand what is Human Development Index. So here are the two economists who have discussed about the Human Development Index. Mehboob ul Haq, a Pakistan economist inspired by the writings of Amartya Sen, argued that the most important requirement to enjoy a decent standard of living are ability to lead a healthy and long life and having income to purchase the minimum amenities. So according to the Pakistan economist Mehboob ul Haq, he says that a person who is enjoying a decent standard of living should have the ability to lead a healthy and long life and should also have at least that much of income that he can purchase the minimum amenities, minimum necessities like food, clothing and shelter. Now, according to Amartya Sen, he defines HD. HD means human development as expansion of capabilities of people. The core capabilities are health, education, and purchasing power. So what does Amartya Sen says? He considers three things are important. First is health, next is education, and the other one is purchasing power. If all these three things are being achieved by the human beings, then we can say this human development is taken place. Now human development indicators, let us see. In order to measure the quality of human life, the United Nations Development Programme has used these ideas to construct an index known as Human Development Index. Now, as we see how Amartya Sen has classified the development of human being. So, to measure this quality of life, the UNDP, that is the United Nations Development Programme, has constructed some ideas to prepare the index by the name Human Development Index. And the core capabilities of the country's population are defined, measured, and combined to derive the composite HDI. And how do they do this? How do they measure this? Yes. While health is measured in life expectancy, education is measured in literacy attainments, and purchasing power through per capita income. Now, what were the three elements or the three core capabilities that were explained by Amartya Sen? He said that health is important, education is important, and purchasing power is important to say that there is human development taking place. Now, how it is measured? Health is measured in life expectancy. What is life expectancy? Life expectancy means how many years that person is going to survive. Earlier it was above 100. Now it is from 50 to 60 or 60 to 70 years a person will survive. That is taken into consideration. Education is measured in literacy attainment. Literacy attainments means how many people are going to school, how many children are achieving education, and at what age. It is at 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, at what age they are going to school. That is literacy attainments. And purchasing power through per capita income. Now, the per capita income is good, then only a person is having a power to purchase something. So individual income is also taken into consideration, and when these all things are achieved, then only we can say that there is human development. Now, what is the condition of human development in India? What progress we can see? HDI of India is in 2012 was calculated at 0.554 and placed at 136th rank out of 186 countries. You can see how worst the condition of India is. Out of 186 countries, the condition of India is such that it is on the 136th position. And this HDI value of 0.554 is calculated how? It is a result of 65.8 years of life expectancy and $3,203 per capita income. Now, what is the dollar? $1 is equal to, yes, $1 is equal to approximately 75 rupees. Now it is 74.85 rupees. So we can take it as 75 rupees, $1. So the overall income of a person is $3,203. You can calculate what will be the total income of a person in this 65 years of age. And how many years of schooling? Average years of schooling 4.4 years. That we can assume that a person is going to school by the age of 4.5 years. But India's HD attainment is very low if we compare it to the top 10 countries. And how do we know that? What is the level of human development? High level human development means whose human development index is above 0.8. Middle level human development means whose HDI is between 0.5 and 0.8. And low level income development means whose HDI is below 0.5. So here we have seen that India is 0.554, means it lies in which area? It lies in the middle level human development area. And you can see that now in 2016 the level has come up to 131 position. India is on 131st rank out of 186 countries. So India is lacking very much behind. And now we will see what is the next concept. If there is human development, we should also have gender development. And we see that there is no equality among the men and women in our society. So gender related development is also very necessary. The role of women in the developmental process is very significant. After independence, our constitution has assured equality of freedom and opportunities to both men and women. You know that after independence, in our constitution also it is stated that men and women are the equal. However, significant types of discrimination can be seen and violence against women is frequently reported. Even though in our constitution equal right has been given to the men and women, we see there is discrimination. Discrimination means differentiation between men and women. There is violence against the women. Violence means zulm against the women. Gender discrimination may be seen in various dimensions of Indian society also. In India, because of all-round discrimination against females and preference for male child, the sex ratio was barely 945 for 1000. See, now we say that men and women are equal. So the birth rate also should be equal. But here when they come to know that the child is a girl child, they will kill the baby girl in the mother's womb itself. That is why we see there is no equality in the birth rate. Where we see 1000 male child are taking birth, only 945 girls are taking birth. Okay. So here there is differentiation. Similarly, the literacy rate among the women was 64.46% to 84.14% among men in 2011. So literacy rate means, yes, what do you mean by literacy? Literacy means getting education. So women, where in 100% only 64 women are getting educated, men are getting 82% education. Here also there is differentiation. Representation of women in political bodies is limited to reserved strength. So even women is not giving the proper representation in the political situations, also in political bodies means in elections and all those things. Okay, so when we see this gender related development is not taking place, then how can we assume the betterment of a nation? So to overcome this problem, in order to promote participation of women in economic activities, self-help groups are being formed in all the villages and cities. Now what are these self-help groups or SSGs? SHG is a group of women, usually of 20, who come together to share their meager resources. Okay, obtain external support. External support may be loans, and undertake business jointly and earn the income. So such groups are being formed for the betterment of the women, for the participation of the women in the economic activities. Okay. Many laws have been enacted to curb violence against the women. Many steps have been taken to remove the violence against the women. To guarantee equal wages, even equal wages have been taken into consideration, trying to give equal wages to the women, providing reservation of seats in elected bodies. Even in elections also proper seats are being given. Reservation of seats for the women is given. Greater attention is being given to the health of pregnant and lactating women. Steps are being taken to alleviate malnutrition in mothers and children. Due to this, postnatal mortality rate has reduced. So more attention is given to the pregnant women, and in Anganwadis you can see many of them are getting the pulses and cereals and all for the better health of the pregnant women. And steps have also been taken to remove malnutrition in mothers and children, and because of this the postnatal mortality rate has improved. Postnatal means after delivery deaths take place, no, because the baby and the mother both are healthy, this has been reduced. All these measures will certainly help in bringing women to the mainstream of the development. So by seeing to all these steps that have been taken by the government, we can say that there is development in the mainstream of the women. Women is developing in the mainstream of the development. So I hope you all have understood the chapter. Thank you. Stay home, stay safe. Take care. Allah Hafiz.